Mm. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. This sequence is about doing the work to become full again. And may this sequence tonight really replenish you. May you feel an opening not only in the heart, but create some space in the hips so that we can really sit and be at home in our bodies and show ourselves the love and affection that we deserve. So we're going to begin in a nice, comfortable seat. I have my shins crossed, and if you're new to the practice and you notice that your knees are high, then I'd recommend sitting on a block or a pillow so that you can lift the hips higher than the knees, and that will give the hip flexors an opportunity to relax. And as always, we're just going to begin with the eyes closed, the lips closed, and turning the palms down on the knees, finding a moment to just check in to see where your starting point is tonight. If you're feeling drained, overworked, overtired, then just acknowledge that and know that now is the time to really flip the switch, to use this practice to generate as much love and warmth that we can, so that when we end, we feel like a brand new person, someone who's inspired and really to take on anything, any task, because we've really learned how to give this time to ourselves. And with a deep inhale through the nose, fill yourself up. Let the belly expand first. Let the heart expand. And then as you exhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Draw the belly back and in. And then inhale for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to pause at the top of the inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold the breath out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale. As you sip the breath in, the belly expands first, the ribs for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then pause at the top of the inhale. And this pause creates some space between our thoughts. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to hold the breath out. Feel a sense of release, any tension, any tightness. And then go ahead and rebound into a breath without trying to control or manipulate the breath. Just let it rebound in as if it was drawing in a sense of patience. Good. And then we'll exhale through the nose. And when you're ready, we're going to take the arms out wide and sweep the arms up overhead. Big circle. And then as you bring the hands above the head, cross the right arm over the left. And we're moving into eagle arms, Garbhadrasana arms. And perhaps the hands touch with the palms facing, or if you're more flexible, palms together. And on the inhale, we're reaching the fingertips towards the sky, and exhale, pulling the elbows away from the chin. We'll find a nice opening here in the shoulders. And as you lift the elbows, find an arch in the upper spine. So the bottom tips of your shoulder blades are pressing into the back of the heart. You're curling the upper spine. And then on the exhale, draw the chin and the chest in. So we're rounding the spine. You'll feel a nice stretch between the shoulder blades. Exhale all the breath out. And then inhale, reach the elbows up. Exhale, curl in. Beautiful. Let's go one more time. Inhale, reach the fingertips up. Elbows pull away from the chin as you find an arch in the upper spine. And then exhale, drawing the elbows in, rounding the spine, and really turning in towards yourself. Good. Releasing the hands now. We're going to twist towards the right. Left hand will grab a hold of the right knee, and right hand will either be placed at the base of the spine, or if you're more flexible, you can even hook that hand in the left hip crease. We'll take a breath to lengthen the spine. And then exhale the twist so that it's felt high and tight in the chest. And it's helpful to even push the right hip forward so that we can twist the right shoulder back and maybe even drop the right ear towards the right shoulder, opening up the left side of the neck. Good. Breath begins in the belly. And then gently, slowly release. Coming back to center, close the eyes. And just notice if there's any shift that's beginning to happen already in your practice. Good. When you're ready, sweep the arms up high to the sky. So big, expansive breath, reach through the fingertips, and then this time the left elbow comes on top. Palms together, if that's available. If it's not, bring the back of the palms together, and we'll reach the elbows or the fingertips up and pull the elbows away from the chin. And you'll start to feel a release right at the base of the skull. And this time, as we reach the fingertips up, find an arch in the upper spine. Good. And this will create more space in the belly. Good. And if we can find that opening in the belly here, then we're more likely to really receive the love from others. We can let go of the fronting and just really be who you are without any sort of judgment, without trying to change. But loving yourself as you are, all of the imperfections, all of the flaws. Anytime those judgments or insecurities come up, we see them as a way of pointing us back into our heart. So they literally serve as a roadmap and back into those warm feelings. And then we'll release, hands will come down, and we're going to twist to the left now. Right hand on the left knee, left hand at the base of the spine, and perhaps maybe even hooking that hand on the inner thigh. And just a big breath to lengthen the spine, and then on the exhale, twist high and tight in the chest. And if you want to come even deeper, push the left hip forward, and that's going to create an even tighter twist right below the sternum. And then left ear will drop towards the left shoulder, nice opening on the right side of the neck. Big breath in. Beautiful. And then slowly release, coming back to center, hands on the knees, one breath to find symmetry in the body. And then we'll open the eyes and go ahead and come onto your hands and knees, please. We're going to stack the shoulders directly over the wrists. Fingers are spread wide, and ensure that your knees are just as wide as the hips. And we're going to take the right foot and extend it back, and then just flex forward and back on the toes. And opening up the ankle. And just use a few moments here in silence just to connect to the breath. You want to feel the breath coming in to the heart center and then even being emanated out from the heart center. And if we can find a way to consistently sit in that seat throughout this practice, right, then we're one step closer to really loving ourselves. And then we're going to bend the knee. Keep the right foot flexed and just little pulsations here. And so we're opening up the back of the kidneys and breathing into the low spine. And to keep the fire in the belly, the lips are closed and we're breathing in and out of the nose. Good. Beautiful. And maybe even just taking this time to really think about the relationships in your life. If you have a tendency to put people on a pedestal or feel as though you're a second-class citizen compared to maybe someone else, this is a beautiful opportunity to start to shift that perspective and really start to see all of us on the same playing field, all as equals, maybe just at different levels of remembering. But if we can feel our sisters and our brothers as the humans that they are, then we don't get so upset when they don't meet our expectations. Beautiful. And this also helps us receive and feel worthy of receiving. Good. And then big circles with that right knee. So feeling a lot of energy in the right hip, using the breath to just floss that region out. My teacher likes to say this is our junk drawers where we put all of the emotions we're not sure what to do with. And so big movements like this literally starts to bring things to the surface. Good. And we'll bring the right knee down and one round of cat-cow pose just to find the balance in left and right sides. Good, and let's switch second side. And pressing through the heel, opening up that ankle. And just staying available for whatever starts to come up for you and seeing what's resonating for you as you explore this balance between giving and receiving. Maybe even watching the breath. Lifting the leg now, bending the knee, and then finding those small pulsations as you press the left heel towards the sky. And breathing into the kidneys, reaching the heart forward. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then big circles with the left knee. Good, warming up the hips. Beautiful, one more. Good, and then let's bring our knees down and press back into child's pose. Big toes touching, knees apart. And we're going to tent our fingers. And as if you're drawing your shoulders down your spine, start to reach the heart forward. So we're going to learn how to bring our heart into all of our conversations. Just by simply feeling a warmth across the chest. Almost as if your chest is surrendering down into the earth. It's bringing in this sense of vulnerability. And that vulnerability is making us more attractive and even more approachable. Good. One more breath. And then when you're ready, slowly start to come up. Hands and knees. And we're going to come into downward facing dog. 2 breaths here, just finding your safe spot. A place where you feel supported. And then gently bring the big toes to touch. We're going to raise the right leg high to the sky. Good, and then float that foot through. And if you find it hard to take one step through, then I recommend bringing the foot halfway into the mat and then use your right hand to assist that foot all the way through. And that's a nice way to help, especially if you're tight in the hip flexors. And we're going to turn to the left, wide-legged forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Toes in, heels out. Fingertips right directly under the shoulders. We're going to lengthen the spine forward. Good, and then on the exhale, folding in. So lifting up all 10 toes, you want to feel the 4 corners of the feet engaged and even engage the quadriceps to the point where it feels like the very tops of your femur bones are being pulled apart. And that opens up the low spine. And you can reach your heart towards the ground and then walk the hands through. Good. And bring the weight into the toes. It's going to feel like you might even topple over a little bit, but find that edge and then see if you can bring a deeper breath there. When you're ready, gently walk the hands back. Good. And we're going to transition towards the front of our mat. Toes point towards the front. And bend into the right knee and step the left foot to meet the right. Forward fold at the top of the mat. And just gently let the head rest long. And then finding that heart breath as you inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, forward fold. Okay. So we're going to bring our big toes to touch, our ankles to touch. Good. And sitting down onto our heels, and find a drishti, a spot that you can focus onto. And feel the knees drop towards the earth as you lift the belly off of the thighs. And we're going to bring our hands to our heart center. And just take a moment here to really make a commitment to everything that we say, everything that we think, everything that we do, that it's a win-win-win situation for everyone involved. And that includes yourself. And we can say that I am lovable, I am deserving, I am allowed, to really start that feeling and getting the energy moving in the motion of receiving. And that might feel awkward at first, but with the practice, we get stronger and stronger, reaching the arms up high to the sky, pressing the knees towards the earth, squeezing the knees together, and see if you can maybe even challenge yourself and bring the gaze up towards the sky. Good, and really open the heart, letting self-love matter more than anything in this moment of balance. And then on the exhale, lowering the hands down. Good, and let's come to a seated position. Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, opening the soles of the feet towards the sky, and then taking your hands right behind the sit bones and lifting the sit bones even closer. So if this feels impossible for you, you can always come onto a pillow and lift the sit bones up. And if that's still too much, you can place a block or bolster on either sides of the knees, which is going to help, particularly when the hip flexors are working to keep you in this position. So however, you need to modify, bringing the hands to the feet, opening the feet, and then reaching the heart forward again, bringing the heart into the conversation first and foremost, letting there be a softness here. And then on the exhale, folding forward, learning to give that softness and that love to ourselves. And as I mentioned before, it usually begins with just learning how to communicate what it is that we need. And that might look like this posture where we fold in and just place our hands either on our heart or on our belly and just filling up with our presence. Reassuring yourself that you are here, that you are safe. And that's really the shortest, quickest way to bring ourselves back into our hearts. Learning to just be soft, be friendly, and sense whatever cycle you are in, whether a new beginning or maybe even an ending, everything's going to be okay. When you're ready, slowly coming up. And all right, so let's go even deeper into the hips. We're going to scoot back a little bit on our mat and keep the left foot on the ground, just nice and easy. And we're going to come into what they call rocking the baby. And the elbow is bent with the foot placed right in the crease of the elbow, and the right hand comes around, and we're just swaying from side to side. So this is probably not accessible to everyone. And a good way to start into it is just to take the hands like a table and lower the leg here, and then you can start to shift. So again, because we're working on receiving, we want to bring the heart into every posture. And if you're feeling like your body language is really shut off and closed to receiving that, here's a beautiful opportunity to again acknowledge and then lift the heart and really feel that posture come into a place of confidence. And it is something that you can practice, and something that just gets stronger and stronger the more that we return. Good, and the breath is a great way to come into that feeling of receptivity. And then from here, fire log pose. So if you have tight hips like me, you probably look something like this. And so I would get a blanket or a block to support the knee, or sometimes it's nice just to let it hang, because as we sit, the hips start to release. Keeping the feet flexed, nice and active, will help protect the knees. And then if you want, you can even reach back and take the fleshy part from the sit bones. And again, finding that pelvic rocking forward. So that helps in the back of the hamstrings and then allows us to find the length in the spine. And we're just going to turn our palms up as a symbol that we're willing to receive. Eyes are closed. And let's take a few breaths, really gaining access into the belly, and that might even mean letting your belly out. When you're ready, slowly start to come up. So keep the right foot where it is. Just bring the left sole of the foot on the ground. And then we're going to walk our hands forward, open the heart. Go ahead in big circles with that ankle. And then from here, one of my favorite postures, half Gomukhasana, where the knees are aligned. Okay. And either sitting on a pillow again or on the earth. And then rocking forward and coming into the forward fold. Go ahead, we'll take a few breaths here. Can you observe yourself right now with compassion? Can that be just as simple as softening the outer edges of the mouth, letting go of the attachments, and learning how to not take everything so personal? And when you're ready, slowly come up. And now into the Omega pose. A diamond with the legs, so the soles of the feet are together. Lift the sit bones. It's that nice internal rotation of the thighs, and then we're going to walk the hands forward. Good. So you don't need to come into a complete forward fold to get the benefits of this posture. The idea is to just meet yourself wherever you are. Acknowledge where your edge is. And then see if you can become reflective in that moment. Maybe it's a limiting belief. Maybe it's a trauma from your past that's really preventing you from expanding and allowing something to come in. And this is how the yoga practice changes us. And once we come face to face with these truths, then we can never look back. And so softening and that practice of softening is really how we move through the deeper transformations. Good. When you're ready, slowly come up. And let's come into second side, please. This time the right foot's on the bottom. Left foot comes in, rocking the baby. Good. And by now you know the modification. And just being grateful for whatever the body's willing to do for you today. So depending on where you are mentally, emotionally, physically, sometimes even the most experienced practitioners have a beginner's day. And then from here, fire log pose, double pigeon. So the shins are stacked, feet are flexed, and then you're stacking a block or a pillow under the knee if that feels appropriate. Otherwise, you're just going to find a place where you're resisting the urge to move and learning to really sit with that place of uncomfortableness. Now, sharp pain is a different story. If you're feeling anything that's definitely a warning sign, then I want you to come out of it and just sit in meditation. But if you're feeling just this certain tendency to want to go deeper, that's where we rest. Good. One more breath. And then slowly release. This time straightening out the bottom leg, stacking the knees. Good. And then opening the heart. And really open the heart here. We don't want to manufacture this. We want it to feel genuine, like a real lift from the inside out. And then we fold forward. And we bring with us a breath that comes into the connective tissue, into the ligaments. And really moving away from anything that feels superficial or cosmetic. Good. One breath that starts in the belly. And then slowly coming up. Good. All right, and we're going to make our way onto our backs, please. We're coming all the way down. Begin by finding your heart. Shoulders wrap underneath the chest. Collarbones are wide, and then as you draw the knees in towards your chest, give yourself a big hug. Thank yourself for showing up today. And then let's come into happy baby pose, grabbing the outsides of the feet, knees come into the armpits. And you're pressing your sit bones into the earth, shoulders back onto the mat, and there's a fearlessness that's coming into the body. You can even press your feet firmly into the hands so you create a point of resistance in the hips. And then let the breath be slow and smooth from the belly to the heart, and from the heart back to the belly. And then we'll slowly release the soles of the feet. And so either resting in Shavasana, or you can rest in Supta Baddha Konasana with the feet together, knees apart. One hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Or taking the legs out long for complete Shavasana. Letting the feet fall to the side. And letting go of the breath. So we're no longer meditating, and we're not quite falling asleep. We're just letting our bones sink down into the earth. Imagine your blood running back into the ocean. Giving your breath back to the wind. And feeling the fire of your will and your digestion. Just slowly warming the body into deep, deep, deep relaxation. Slowly begin to wiggle your toes. We'll reach our arms alongside our ears and stretch from toe tip to fingertip. Big breath in through the nose, and then open the mouth and make a sound. And we'll roll on the left side using the arm as a pillow. And just take a moment to feel what's shifted in the body. Where is there an opening that wasn't there before? And as you slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seat, And just feeling this new space to receive, and coming into a seated posture. And we're going to put one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. And with as much compassion and observation as you can, just feel into what it's like to really receive this gift of your own presence, of your own attention. And bring our hands to our hearts, indicating our desire for clear and loving intentions. And we'll close our practice by bowing in Namaste. Namaste.